Hi Lloyd, this is really buzzing, but I think we better go and find somewhere quiet upstairs. Can we just go up and...
we can go this way.
That's fine. Hi Lloyd. Yeah, we've escaped upstairs to another really nice room here above the coach and horses, and there's loads of buzz downstairs. I was going to ask you how it's going, but before that, explain why it's called the Tuttle Club.
Well, it's called the Tuttle Club because I wanted something that wasn't about social media. I mean, we call it a social media cafe so that people know what it is, but what the group of people is the Tuttle Club, and Tuttle is a reference to Harry Tuttle, who is a character in the film Brazil by Terry Gilliam, and Harry is played by Robert De Niro. He's a freelance heating engineer in a world where freelance heating engineers are illegal, and he's treated as a terrorist because he makes things work, he makes things happen by poking around in the stuff without going through all the paperwork and all the other stuff. So to me, he's a kind of hero in kind of those terms. There's a kind of revolutionary figure working below the radar of everything, and actually just getting stuff done. And that kind of struck a chord with me in terms of the kind of bloggy, podcasty, social media types that we are. So that's why I called it that.
And so we're Tuttlers rather than hackers these days, are we?
Well, I guess so, yeah. Well, we're friends of... I think I like to talk about the friends of Harry. We're the friends of Harry Tuttle rather than... anything else. I think that's what we'll get their little badges and T-shirts made up.
Oh, lovely.
I'm a friend of Harry.
Lovely. So how's the plans towards somewhere permanent?
Plans?
Well, will you ever get there, or is this just a social journey?
I'll just get my plan out. It's on the back of this business card.
Oh, right. Okay.
No. Well, I mapped out a vision in my original blog post about this, of a place that was a combination of social activity, working activity and learning activities. And what we're doing is we're prototyping bits of that in order to get to that final vision. So we started with prototyping a cafe because that seemed to be the simplest thing I could think of. I mean, it's, you know, there's lots of us who are software kind of people around here, and we the only way we know how to do things is to make a little prototype and try it out and see what happens, see what the users think. So that's what we've done. We thought, well, how can you prototype a cafe? Well, you find a space, you have some coffee, and you add people, and away you go. And so that's what we've done. But what I want to do I'm gobsmacked that we've got 40 people signed up for today. But where it goes next is that we need I think we've proved that kind of concept, and there's a community of people who are interested in this stuff. What I want to do next is start building in new functionality around the areas of work and the area of learning, which means finding spaces where people can not only sit and have coffee, but also do some focused work around desks and, you know, that kind of stuff, and collaborate with each other. I mean, that's the big thing for me, is how can we support people collaborating on important things, and how can we do the learning thing? How can we I want to change the market in social media training in this, you know, because at the moment, if you want to know about social media, pretty much the only offering is that you get shut in a hotel room for a day with a bunch of vendors who try and pitch you stuff via PowerPoint. That's an extreme. I'm taking it to extreme to make the point, but of course there's lots of stuff that goes on that's good, but there's not much choice in the marketplace. We know about this stuff, and we can teach people, and we can generate some revenue out of that as well. So I'm looking for opportunities now to start doing workshops, masterclasses. But the problem in London is space. It's finding a space where we can do that, and we can do it in a way that doesn't suck up all the money that we make out of it. So that's the challenge at the moment, is finding spaces and finding money.
So, are you looking for people who would offer some spaces for free or low cost, where you can actually start prototyping that different learning
Absolutely.
experience?
Well, that's what we did. That's what we've done here at the Coach and Horses. You know, Alistair, the landlord, very kindly gave us the room and let us use it and drink coffee here on the basis that we'd have an honesty pot and people would put a bit of cash and he would get something back from it. Now, that was on the you know, what we've done to move on from there is we've found a sponsor. And actually, we've got a little queue of sponsors now who are willing to pay for the space. So I want to do something similar with the other areas, the learning and the work areas. Is find somebody who's got some space that is underutilised, but which would welcome people like us using it on a free to low cost basis at the beginning, and then, you know, as we start to generate some revenue, which I'm sure we can do. Then we can start to pay our way. I mean, that's the aim of it for me, is that we get to a point where we're self-supporting and we pay our own bills. I don't want to be sponsored all the time. Although we very much welcome the sponsors we have at the moment and the support they're giving us right now. No, really, we do, because the great thing about the sponsors we've got at the moment is that they're part of the community. They're not people from outside. They're not kind of suits from outside who've descended on us. They are people we know, and they just happen to have some money to support community activities.
So just to wrap up, the spaces you're looking for learning and work, do those need to be permanent, or could you prototype on a temporary basis?
We've always had the concept of a kind of travelling circus with this as our interim model. It's like we want to get to a permanent space. We want to have a permanent space for us to work in and use. But on the way, I'm quite happy to pick this whole thing up and move it from place to place. And so, yeah, travelling circus is the picture for that.